I got this really cute Valentine's Day sign from Dollar Tree, but with the bright red, it just didn't match my decor in my house. So I wanted to go ahead and reinvent it. So first of all, I took the burlap off of the sign that said Valentine's, and now I am just taking the red ribbon off. And then after I get that off, I am going to go over it with a little bit of low grit sandpaper, just because where it is painted and said happy, it was raised just a little bit. So I wanted to smooth that all down so you couldn't see it when I painted over the top. There was a little bit of residue left over after I was done sanding, so I'm just taking a damp paper towel and wiping it down to get all the residue off. And then I'm going to cover the entire heart with this Waverly chalk paint in the color white. I was hoping one coat would cover everything, but the red was still bleeding through, so I did go ahead at the end and go over it one more time to give it 2 coats of the Waverly chalk paint. And in this, looks like I didn't paint the middle thing because I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, but in the end I did go ahead and go over that middle banner area. I don't even know what you want to call it, but I did go ahead and paint that white as well. And here I am just using the wood letters from Dollar Tree. I used the 2 X's and 2 O's, so I did need 2 bags because they only come with 1 letter in each bag. But now I am just mixing red and white together to kind of get a pink color that I was hoping to find. I didn't find the color that I wanted in the store, so I went ahead and just mixed these 2 together, and it came out pretty well. I like the color that I ended up coming up with. And then I just painted each of the letters with that pink color that came out. I apologize for this terrible camera angle. I could not find anything to prop my camera up on so that you guys could get a high enough view, but later on in the video I do end up fixing it. In this shot, you can see that I actually did paint that middle banner part. I probably didn't have to, but the burlap that I was going to use is kind of see-through. So I went ahead and just painted it just so it would all look uniform. So now I'm just using the burlap that I also got from Dollar Tree, and I'm cutting it to size to fit on that banner in the middle of the heart. And here I am just cutting like a little ducktail at the ends of the burlap ribbon. It would have been a lot easier if I would have just folded it over and cut one little angled line, but I was trying to make it as perfect as possible to fit that sign, and at the end it really wouldn't have mattered. So I just took the more difficult route, I guess. To attach the burlap ribbon, I'm just taking Mod Podge that, again, you can get at Dollar Tree, and I am just placing it onto the heart itself, the Mod Podge and then I put the ribbon on top of it, and then I actually pour a little bit more Mod Podge on top of the ribbon and use my paintbrush to kind of smooth everything out. At first it looks like it's going to, you can see the Mod Podge obviously while it's wet, but once it dries you can't see anything, so it works out really well. So now I have the burlap ribbon attached to the heart. I am going to go ahead and glue on the X's and O's on top of the burlap. My camera actually died, and so I didn't get on camera, but I just used my hot glue gun to attach the X's and O's to the heart. And now you just see me dry brushing a dark gray color onto the heart and the X's and O's. I just mixed a little bit of black and white actually together. I started with black and it just looked a little too harsh, so I added a little white to the black and came up with this really dark gray color that I ended up really liking. So now I'm just dry brushing on there to distress it a little bit and make it a little more farmhouse friendly, I guess, in a decor setting. And I really love the way it turned out. You could definitely leave the heart as is, but I felt like it was a little bare, so I wanted to go ahead and make a bow for it. So I'm using this burlap ribbon that I also got from Dollar Tree. Everything I believe is from Dollar Tree except for my Waverly paint. But to make my bow, I just make one little loop and then I cut one strand, the length of the loop for the tail of the bow, and then I just crinkle it and fold it into the middle. And then I'm gonna take this black ribbon and I just tie it in the center and then tie a knot of the black ribbon around the back of the bow. Once the black ribbon is tied around the center of the bow, I go ahead and fluff it up a little bit and pull the tails down so that you can see them. And then I go ahead and make a little decorative edging at the ends, I guess. And so I just fold the ribbon over on top of each other and cut up at an angle to give it what I like to call a ducktail. It just gives a little more detail to the bow itself. And then I am taking my hot glue gun and just gluing the heart to the top corner. Gluing the bow to the top corner of the heart. And here is the end result. I love the way it turned out. It was super simple and cute and rustic, and it really just finishes off my Valentine decor in the rest of my house. And I found this little hanging plaque at Dollar Tree as well. I've been needing some decor for my bathroom, so I went ahead and picked this up. It has a lot of glitter to it, which makes a massive mess, especially when you're sanding it off. But I definitely couldn't just leave it because once I painted over top of it, it would bubble up underneath of the paint. So I just had to take some more sandpaper and sanded all the glitter off of the sign. And with this sign, I wanted to paint it a light gray, but I did not have a light gray color at home, so I just used this black and white and mixed it together to find the perfect color of gray that I wanted. I used a lot more white than black, obviously, because I wanted it light. And then I just mixed it together and painted the entire sign. It actually covered really well, so I only had to do one coat of the paint, which was very helpful. Especially when you're mixing paints, because you're never guaranteed to have the exact same color if you start mixing it again. So I was really thankful that it only took me one coat to cover the entire sign. You can definitely tell as I'm painting that I didn't get it fully mixed because there are streaks of like black and white in the gray paint, but I kind of liked the way it was looking and kind of looked like just some grains in it. And so in the end, it really didn't matter because I really liked how it turned out. And here you can actually see that I didn't have enough paint, so I had to mix again. And again, you can tell that I did not get the right color exactly. And it was a lot lighter, so I just went ahead and went over the entire sign, just like a light coat, so that you could see the dark bleed through the back of it as well. And here you can see that I used the wooden letters again. I don't know if you can tell, but that O on hot, it actually used to be a Q, and I just broke off the little tails from the Q and sanded it down a little bit to make it a little more straight. I obviously didn't do it perfect because you can kind of see where it bubbles out where the tail was, but it ended up working out just fine for me. So that was really helpful because I did this late at night and was not able to go to Dollar Tree and get more letters. And I just realized that I didn't show what color I was painting these letters, but it's just the same exact acrylic white paint that I was mixing with the black to get the light gray, but with this I'm just using the white. Once I laid all my letters out on the sign, I realized that they just looked a little too clean. So I went ahead and dry brushed a little bit of black around the edges to rough them up a little bit, make them a little more rustic. And then I took my hot glue gun and just glued all the letters down exactly where I wanted them. Honestly, looking at it now, I kind of wish I would have left them all white, but you know, you live and you learn, and every project doesn't have to come out perfect. I'm gonna be honest, I really had no idea what direction I was going with this project. After I got all my letters glued down and after it said hot bath, I went ahead and took this burlap ribbon that I used to make the bow from the last project and I glued that down. And then I just took the black ribbon that I used on the previous project as well, and I glued that on top of the burlap ribbon. After I got this black ribbon glued down, I literally sat at my kitchen table for a good 20 to 30 minutes trying to decide what else I wanted to do with this sign. And then I decided that I was going to get on the computer, and I just printed off a silhouette of an old-fashioned claw tub. And then I came in my kitchen and found an old Amazon box that was sitting in the corner and just cut a piece of the cardboard off of the box and traced the claw tub onto the box. Onto the cardboard, I'm sorry. And then I just went ahead and painted it with the white acrylic paint that I used earlier as well. And here you can see that I went ahead and painted the feet of the bathtub black just to give it a little more dimension. And then I took my hot glue gun and just glued that cardboard tub right onto the ribbon. And just like most of my projects, I thought I was done, and then I stared at it for a while and thought it needed something else. So I just, with a pencil, wrote 5 cents on the bathtub, and then I took a very fine paintbrush with some black paint and traced over my pencil markings. And at the end, you will see that I decided that 5 cents was a little too cheap for a hot bath. And so then I went ahead and added a 2 in front of the 5 and made it 25 cents for a hot bath. And for only paying $2 for this entire project, I am pleased how it turned out. And now I can officially say I have a piece of decor for my bathroom.